Australians take their coffee seriously. From Melbourne laneway cafes to early morning servo stops, it's more than a drink, it's ritual. But not every bag, jar, or bottle on supermarket shelves reflects the quality our coffee culture is known for. Some prioritize convenience over freshness. Some hide behind branding while offering little transparency. Others are loaded with sugar or roasted so aggressively they mask the bean entirely. Today, we're breaking down 10 Australian coffee brands you should think twice about, and the few that are genuinely clean, transparent, and worth keeping in your kitchen. Moccona markets itself as refined and European-inspired. The glass jar, the smooth granules, the gold lid, everything about the packaging suggests something elevated above typical instant coffee. But once you move past the branding, you're still dealing with instant coffee. Instant coffee is brewed industrially and then dehydrated. That second stage matters. Whether it's spray-dried under high heat or freeze-dried, the goal is long shelf life, not peak flavor. The delicate aromatic compounds that make freshly roasted beans complex and layered are significantly reduced in the process. What remains is uniformity. You won't find a roast date on the jar. You won't find detailed origin information. You won't know which harvest or region your coffee came from. Instead, you get a best before date stretching years ahead. Real coffee changes over time. It releases carbon dioxide after roasting. It blooms when water hits it. It evolves in aroma as days pass. Instant coffee does none of this because it has already been fully processed and stabilized. Moccona isn't dangerous, but it represents a version of coffee designed for storage and speed, not freshness and nuance. If you care about quality, instant is a compromise. International Roast is the office kitchen staple. It's affordable, accessible, and consistent. And that price point is exactly where questions begin. Coffee production isn't cheap. Farming, washing, drying, sorting, shipping, roasting, each stage carries cost. When a brand consistently sells at the lowest tier of pricing, something has to give. In most cases, that something is bean grade. Commodity-grade coffee is grown for volume, not flavor complexity. It's harvested in large batches, often blended from multiple regions to create a stable, predictable taste. The roasting tends to lean darker to hide imperfections and inconsistencies. International Roast doesn't provide detailed sourcing transparency. There's no farm-level traceability or producer recognition. It's simply packaged as coffee. When a product doesn't tell you its story, it usually means the story isn't the selling point. The selling point is price. Cheap coffee isn't automatically bad. But if flavor clarity and sourcing ethics matter to you, this brand likely isn't your best choice. Blend 43 is embedded in Australian nostalgia. It's been in homes for decades. It's associated with family kitchens, camping trips, office tea rooms, and that unmistakable red lid sitting beside the kettle. But nostalgia doesn't equal freshness. Blend 43 is instant coffee produced at enormous industrial scale. The beans are brewed in bulk, then dehydrated using spray drying technology and packaged for long-term stability. That process prioritizes consistency and shelf life over complexity and aroma retention. You won't find a roast date printed on the jar. You won't see single origin detail, producer information, or harvest season transparency. There's no indication of whether the beans were roasted weeks ago or many months ago before processing. The goal isn't traceability. The goal is identical flavor across supermarkets nationwide. Spray drying requires high temperatures that remove much of the natural oil content and volatile aromatic compounds found in freshly roasted beans. Those oils are what create crema, body, and depth in brewed coffee. Without them, the cup profile becomes flatter and more one-dimensional. What remains is a strong, straightforward bitterness designed to survive dehydration and storage. That reliability appeals to many consumers who want the same taste every time. But from a quality perspective, it's far removed from specialty coffee roasted in small batches, ground fresh, and brewed within weeks of roasting. Blend 43 isn't toxic. It isn't scandalous. It's simply engineered convenience in a jar, built for shelf life, not peak flavor. Coffee pods changed how people brew at home. Insert, press, drink, no measuring, no grinding, no cleanup. But pods come with trade-offs. Inside each capsule is pre-ground coffee. Grinding dramatically increases surface area, accelerating oxidation. Even in sealed pods, flavor compounds degrade over time. If the roast date isn't printed, and it usually isn't, you have no way of knowing how old that coffee is. Home brand pods focus on compatibility and affordability. They're designed to work in machines across households. They're not designed to showcase single origin nuance. Then there's the brewing system itself. Hot water forced under pressure through plastic and foil creates convenience. But it's still a mechanical shortcut compared to grinding fresh beans and brewing immediately. If speed is your priority, pods win. If quality and traceability matter, pods often fall short, especially budget versions. The Starbucks logo carries weight. It signals global coffee authority. But the bottled Frappuccino is not black coffee in a bottle. Turn it around and read the ingredient list. Milk and sugar come first. Coffee appears later. Some varieties contain sugar levels comparable to soft drinks. The thickness and sweetness aren't accidents. They're engineered for indulgence. This product is closer to a dessert beverage than a traditional brewed coffee. It delivers caffeine, yes, but it also delivers a heavy dose of sugar and dairy designed to create instant satisfaction. If you're choosing it knowingly as a treat, that's one thing. If you're choosing it thinking it reflects cafe-style black coffee quality, that's another. Brand trust doesn't always equal product simplicity. Dare is woven into Australian road culture. Tradies grab it before sunrise. Drivers pick it up at petrol stations. It's cold, convenient, and positioned as fuel for long shifts and early starts. But like most ready-to-drink iced coffees, it's formulated for taste impact, not bean expression. Take a closer look at the nutrition panel. Many full-size bottles contain upwards of 40 to 50 grams of sugar, depending on the flavor and size. That's comparable to a soft drink. The texture is deliberately thick and creamy because it's built around milk solids and added sugars, not just brewed coffee. The flavor is balanced to be instantly pleasing straight from a chilled bottle. It's smooth, sweet, and low in bitterness. Not because of delicate roasting, but because sweetness dominates the profile. This isn't a criticism of indulgence. It's a clarification of the category. Dare isn't freshly brewed black coffee highlighting origin, roast style, or bean character. It's a sweetened milk beverage with added coffee extract. If you're buying it as an occasional treat, that's one thing. But if you're viewing it as a clean, simple daily coffee replacement, the sugar load and formulation matter. If you want a quick, sweet caffeine hit, it delivers. If you want minimal ingredients and flavor clarity, it doesn't. Understanding that difference matters. Vittoria is respected in cafe circles, but supermarket ground coffee operates under very different constraints than cafe-supplied beans. Pre-ground coffee oxidizes rapidly. Once ground, the clock starts ticking. Aromatics fade, oils degrade, complexity diminishes. The subtle notes that define specialty coffee, citrus brightness, chocolate undertones, caramel sweetness, begin breaking down quickly after grinding. When you pick up a supermarket bag, you're often buying coffee that may have been roasted long before it reached the shelf. Without a roast date clearly displayed, freshness becomes guesswork. Best before dates don't tell you when the beans were roasted, only how long they're expected to remain safe to consume. Supermarket blends are typically roasted to balance mass appeal and shelf life. That often means slightly darker profiles and broad flavor consistency, ensuring the coffee tastes roughly the same months later. That stability works for retail logistics, but it sacrifices vibrancy. It's not inherently low quality, but it is engineered for durability across thousands of shelves, not peak freshness in your cup. Coles and Woolworths home brand coffees exist for one clear reason: affordability. Whether it's Coles Urban Coffee Culture, Coles Fair Trade Range, or Woolworths Essentials and Select Blends, these products are positioned at a lower price point than specialty competitors. To achieve that pricing, sourcing typically relies on large-scale commodity contracts. Beans are purchased in bulk from multiple regions and blended for consistency, rather than distinct origin character. Transparency becomes secondary to cost control. You won't find individual producer names. There's no detailed farm-level traceability or harvest season information on the packaging. Instead, you'll see broad descriptors like medium roast or strength 3 with minimal sourcing depth. Specialty coffee thrives on traceability. Farmers are named. Processing methods are highlighted. Harvest dates are displayed. Supermarket house brands focus on accessibility and uniform flavor across thousands of stores nationwide. If your priority is budget convenience, they fulfill that role. But if origin clarity and freshness matter, these brands offer limited insight into what's actually in your cup. McCafé's retail beans ride on the recognition of the fast food chain's coffee program. Many Australians associate McCafé with reliability and accessibility, but sourcing at that scale requires enormous consistency. Large-scale contracts mean blending from multiple regions. Roasting is often adjusted to ensure a uniform flavor profile across massive volumes. Darker roasting helps standardize taste. Dark roasting can create boldness, but it also erases subtle characteristics. What some drinkers perceive as strong or robust may simply be heavy roast intensity. Again, not scandalous, not unsafe, just designed for volume and predictability rather than transparency and nuance. These bags often shout bold, intense, maximum caffeine. They're typically roasted very dark. Extremely dark roasting can mask inconsistencies in bean quality. When everything tastes smoky and bitter, subtle defects disappear beneath the roast. The aroma can lean toward charred or burnt. The cup may taste harsh before milk is even added. Many consumers equate bitterness with strength, but bitterness isn't necessarily a sign of high-quality beans. When roasting overshadows origin, the bean's character is lost. Australia's specialty coffee scene is world-class. There are roasters who prioritize freshness, transparency, and ethical sourcing. Based in Western Australia, Five Senses emphasizes traceability and strong producer relationships. Their roast dates are clearly printed. Origin details are provided. Beans are selected for quality and roasted to highlight flavor clarity. When you open a fresh bag, the aroma evolves. That's a sign of freshness. Melbourne's specialty reputation owes much to roasters like Market Lane. They publish harvest years, producer names, and processing details. Roasts are calibrated to preserve nuance rather than overwhelm it. Transparency isn't a marketing copy, it's standard practice. Single O integrates sustainability and sourcing transparency into its identity. Their beans are specialty grade, and their roast profiles aim for balance and clarity. Origin matters. They treat it that way. Campos has built long-term relationships with producers and provides clear origin and roast date information. Their approach reflects respect for coffee as an agricultural product, not just a commodity. So before you make your next cup, take a second and check the label. Does your coffee tell you where it came from and when it was roasted? Or does it simply promise strength? Australia's coffee culture deserves better than mystery blends and burnt shortcuts. Choose beans that respect the craft behind them and drink better. If this breakdown helped you see your morning routine differently, hit like and subscribe. Drop the brand you're currently drinking in the comments. Let's compare notes.